Back on Good Morning Football. Yes, we're still in New York. We're catching a flight after the show. You got that PJ lined up for all of us?
Yeah. Kyle hooked me up with his pilot, so.
PJ?
Nice.
Private is that pajamas? I don't know anything about
Kyle
that.
Brandt, Peter Schrager, Nate Burleson. My name is Kay Adams. We are awaiting Patrick Mahomes to step up to the podium and answer some questions for the global media. I mean, the center of the football world is in Miami. We're excited to get there. We did just hear from Andy Reid, and looking at him at that podium, Schrags, a lot of pressure, and he's handling it cool as ever.
Yeah, look, there's the questions that are going to remain, and we talked about it a lot this week, is that can Andy Reid win the big one? There are only 3 coaches in the Pro Football Hall of Fame who have not won a Lombardi trophy as a head coach. Andy Reid's been there as a head coach. He lost. He's also been in 9 different conference championships. I mean, he's been all to the playoffs so many times.
Yeah.
And now it's as good a situation, as good a team, and as good a quarterback as he's ever had. This might be the year.
It's funny that he's here because in the NFL vernacular, if you speak it, if you get it, if you follow it, the chief joke is that Andy Reid blows it. Like, he'll get to the playoffs and lose. And the fact is, his playoff record with the Chiefs before Mahomes was not great. It's awesome that he's here, too, because I'm rooting for him. I don't want to drop a name here. At the beginning of the season, I was talking to Bill Simmons on the podcast, and he goes, who do you like in the AFC to beat the Patriots? And I said, I really like the Chiefs. And he just openly started belly laughing because that's the joke. The Chiefs will blow it. But my response was, Mahomes is the difference maker. That draft pick that they made changed everything, and I really think it's the reason Andy Reid is here. He put all his destiny in the middle of the table, and that's why he's here.
Yeah, this ain't your granddaddy Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even your big brothers.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different squad, whole different beast. And this is a whole different Andy Reid. Just by the way that he walks around, the smile on his face, he just feels like he's rejuvenated. But that's what happens when you have that type of talent. I love the presser because every question is different. It's coming from a different space. But there was a question from an individual asking him about clock management. And that's a very important question.
That's part of the joke.
He said straight up, listen, you know that the 49ers are going to bleed the clock. We get it. They have a strong running game. What are you going to do? Because you guys score so fast. And, he has to answer it on a very surface level. But I'm very curious, once we actually watch the game on Sunday, how do you beat that? Because if the running game is flowing for the 49ers, you literally can't do anything. You have to sit on your hands on the sideline and pray to the football gods that my player gets another chance. We've seen this before, unfortunately. Last year's playoffs, it was Andy and Pat Mahomes sitting on the sideline because a coin flip didn't go their way, and they never got a chance to touch the ball.
We heard from Andy Reid. He spoke about Eric Bieniemy, spoke about Sammy Watkins, and what Sunday means to him. And here's your reigning MVP, Patrick Mahomes.
Hey Patrick, as a fellow professional athlete, what was the best advice that your dad ever gave you? And what is your favorite or some of your favorite memories of being in the clubhouse with him at a baseball team? And I would imagine you were too young to remember the Twins.
Yeah, my favorite memories were just taking and shagging BP and then taking BP with some of the guys that my dad played with, especially when he was on the Mets. I think that's when I really started first remembering a lot of things, and Mike Hampton and all those guys when I would go out there and shag, catch fly balls and stuff like that. And then the best advice that my dad and mom always gave me was just to be the best you can be. And that was in everything. If that was sports or if that was in class or whatever it was, just be the best person that you can be at that.
Patrick, we saw last month you had the touchdown in Chicago and you counted to 10. I wonder how often you think about how fortunate you were to land with the Chiefs specifically, and how your career could have taken many different roads if you'd ended up somewhere else.
Yeah, I think I ended up in the perfect place. To have Coach Reid and these coaches around me, to have Alex Smith in front of me for a year and be able to learn from him, and then obviously to have all the players that I have around me. I'm in a place where the team was already a winning team, a team that had a lot of success, and I came in, was able to just be who I am, be who I am, and ended up being able to win a lot of football games early in my career.
Good morning, Patrick. Every Chiefs fan were grasping for air in October when you injured your knee against the Denver Broncos. What went through your mind? Because it looked very serious. Did you think that maybe your season is over? And how could you recover from this injury so fast?
Yeah, I for sure had those thoughts a little bit whenever I had the injury. I think the biggest thing as I looked down and I knew my knee didn't look right, and I thought the worst. But at the same time, when I got back to the locker room and talked to the doctors, they were very positive. And then the next few weeks, with the training staff, they worked me hard to go out there and rehab and do everything the right way, and it helped me be able to come back fast and be healthy at this point in the season.
Patrick, how have you and Sammy Watkins kind of connected the last few seasons, and what makes him such a vital part of your offense?
Yeah, I think Sammy is a vital part in our offense because of everything that he does in our offense. Obviously, he's had a lot of big games and big moments for us in the playoffs, especially these last 2 years. And then the way he's able to just attract defenders, get some of the best cornerbacks to cover him so other guys can get open, able to recognize the coverages on the fly and get himself open. I mean, he's a guy that's very vital to our offense that's really helped us get to where we're at.
Patrick, Coach Reed talked about your leadership. How big a role are you playing this week specifically in kind of keeping the guys grounded with all the distractions that are happening during Super Bowl week?
Yeah, I think Coach Reed has put together a great plan for us that where we can do stuff with the media, we can do stuff outside of what our normal routine is, but at the same time keeping it as normal as possible. And so with the practice schedule that he's had, with the meeting schedule that he's had, I've really felt like we've kind of kept it rolling just like we would have done if we were in Kansas City.
Patrick, over here to your left, can you talk a little bit about Laurent Duvernay-Tardif and how impressive it is what he's been able to accomplish, and would you ever ask him to diagnose an injury?
Maybe if it was last resort, I'd ask him to diagnose it. But for me, it is very impressive with all the work that you have to put in to be great at this sport, and how much studying you have to do that, to be able to go in the off season and get a doctorate degree. And I know how hard that is. It just shows that the hard work and dedication that he has, not only to being a football player, but just to be a person, and that work ethic travels and translates to every aspect in life.
Hey, Patrick. I know that you've been on every major stage, but this is the biggest stage. I just wondered, do you pray? I mean, at times like this, you got to get scared, right? A little bit?
Yeah, I mean, prayer is something that I do anyways, regardless of what stage I'm on. So that's something that's personal to me that I do. But it's not about nerves. It's about going out there, having fun, enjoying it with your teammates, and just enjoying the place that you're at now, and having fun every day you get to be here.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, you're already one of the most popular players in Kansas City sports history at a really young age, but I'm curious, off the field, what made Kansas City, or the city of Kansas City, a good fit for you?
It was the people. The people are what really drew me to Kansas City, and what I hope I get to play there the rest of my career now. I mean, just the people and how they accept you, how they care about you more as a person than they do as a player, and how much passion that they have for the Kansas City Chiefs is it's special, and it's somewhere where I want to be for the rest of my career.
Hello, Patrick. Good morning.
I don't know what we're
Right. Championship teams always find a way to come back, overcome adversity. You've done that against Houston. You've done it against Tennessee. Just talk about what are the keys of getting out to a great start, especially in a game like this and against the defense you're about to face.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because the last 2 years that I've played, I feel like we've always got off to great starts and scored a lot of points. And with the last two games, we haven't been able to do that. And so for us, it's about just going in there with the right mindset, not trying to do too much, staying within the game plan, and just playing like we played the last three quarters of both the last two games. And if we do that and just execute it at a little bit higher level at the beginning of the game, we can hopefully not fall behind like we have the last 2 weeks.
Patrick, Jose Villalba from Multimedios in Mexico. Both you and Jimmy Garoppolo, your winning percentage are very, very high. What do you think are the similarities for both of you, Jimmy Garoppolo and yourself, in terms of winning quarterback? What do you think makes both of you such winners?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy would say the same thing. I mean, just being in the right organization with the right coaches, with the right teammates. I mean, in this league, it's not about one person. It's not about a quarterback. It's about your team and how you go out there and play as a team and play together. And so I think with me and him, we've been put in a lot of great situations, and then we've just tried to maximize that every single day that we get those opportunities.
Hello. Good morning, Pat. Federico Olvera from Mexico City for Radio 13. How do you consider having played baseball helps you to throw the ball effectively? And what do you think are the keys you guys have to do in order to win the next Sunday?
Yeah, I think baseball helped me a ton just with being able to throw off platform, be able to just having to throw accurately across my body and whatever way possible to make plays. And I think that competitiveness and that kind of off platform stuff really helped out my game. And the keys to the game are going to be who takes care of the football, who goes out there, doesn't hurt themselves, and just execute at a high enough level. And that's every football game. And we understand that it's going to be a great challenge, and we're going to go out there and try to execute at a high enough level to find a way to win.
Patrick, obviously the relationship between the quarterback and the center is important. How has your bond with Austin Ryder developed the last 2 years?
Yeah, Austin's awesome, man. He's a good guy. He's someone that has really developed as a football player, especially with this year. And I think just having that relationship with the center and the whole offensive line is huge. And I feel like in this team, everybody's connected from defensive line, offensive line, all the way to the quarterback and running back, receiver, DBs. And so just having a team that the bond is that tight, it helps out a lot as the season goes on.
Patrick, I know Andy Reid has helped you as a quarterback in your development. How has Mike Kafka helped you in your development as a quarterback with the Chiefs?
Yeah, Coach Caff, I mean, he's a great coach. He's someone that he makes sure that I do whatever it takes every single day. He's every single day he's there to push me to be great, to push me to be better. And so sometimes I get mad at him because he's making me do stuff that I don't want to do, but he's making sure that I'm doing the fundamentals and preparing the right way every single day. And that you have to have someone like that will push you to be great if you want to go out there and have success in this league.
Hey, Patrick. Jacob from Fox Sports Mexico. Can you talk about the fact that you joined Dan Marino and Kurt Warner as the only quarterbacks to win MVP and make it to the Super Bowl in just your first 3 seasons in the league?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Anytime that you're mentioned with names like that, I mean, it is special. And so I understand that this is a great opportunity to be here. And I'm going to enjoy it and just go out there, have fun, and try to be the same guy that I am every other week of the year.
Patrick, yesterday Rob Gronkowski said that he doesn't think there's a clear favorite for Sunday's game, but he feels like Kansas City might have to score on each drive if they want to have a chance to win. But considering the Chiefs have a better scoring defense than the Niners, at least during the regular season, what do you think, or do you think that statement is a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, I think in any football game, you never know how the game's going to go. I mean, it could be a lot of points scored. It could be a no points scored. And I think it's all about how you find a way to win. And so we understand that there's 2 great offenses, there's 2 great defenses, great special teams units. I mean, that's why we're in this game. And so you don't know how the game's going to go, but whatever way it does, it's about finding a way to win when it does.
Hey, Patrick, yesterday Damian Williams was telling us a story over there about you had him run down and close his eyes and throw a ball to him that he caught. Can you just give us a little idea of things like that you do in practice to kind of get these guys where you want them to be?
Yeah, that's just something where we joke around and have fun at practice and do stuff like that. And I think Coach Reid lets us do stuff like that. And I think it's more about just seeing what we can do, seeing what we can't do, and then being able to go out there during the game and do the right things. And I think having a coach like Coach Reid who lets us show our personality, lets us have fun every single day, it keeps us loose and keeps us ready to go during game days.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Now it's
Calm, collected, reigning MVP, playing in his very first Super Bowl, representing the AFC in the 60th centennial of the Chiefs. A huge accomplishment by him to get here, guys. What do you think of his, the way he was in front of the people?
He's so humble. He's so wonderful. Like, he just is gracious. So it's nice to have the star of the sport be someone you can really wrap your arms around. What I find fascinating about this week is the fact that the San Francisco 49ers had Brian Hoyer as their quarterback and the number 2 overall pick and Patrick Mahomes on the board. And they traded back and got Solomon Thomas instead. And what could have been had Mahomes' career gone somewhere differently. And they talked about it both with Andy Reid and with Mahomes. He goes all the way to number 10 in the draft, and even then it seemed like a reach when the Chiefs traded up. How different would his story be if he was in Chicago or if he was in New Orleans or even in San Francisco, Mahomes just said it perfectly. I'm where I should be, and it's because of all the people around me as well. He's a humble superstar, but I don't know. NFL history could be different if another team takes him in those top 9 picks.
Yeah, speaking of his story, you know, when I hear him talk, I hear the influence of people around him, more specifically his parents. Like my wife and I, who are 2 former athletes, are raising 3 kids. And Nate is 15, Nehemiah is 13. Athletes, we want them to be academic all-stars. And right now we're in that phase where we're trying to get them to be comfortable in their own skin and have confidence when they walk in the room, project their voices. When an adult comes up to you, shake their hand firmly and talk like you're meant to be there. And it's tough because Nate is the passive one. He's really chill. When he gets on the court, he kind of opens up. And I see that the influence from his father and his mother is in him when he talks because we forget how young he is. Patrick Mahomes just got here, but he acts like he's been here for a decade, which a lot of guys, as we know in this league, some guys are in 10 years and don't want a microphone in front of them. So when Andy Reid, who we heard from earlier, says, what I look for in quarterbacks is leadership, it comes full circle when you listen to Pat Mahomes talk. No wonder every guy on that team, no matter if they just got to the Chiefs or they've been there forever, will ride for Pat Mahomes because they follow everything that he says.
It was such a big storyline for the draft process that his dad was a baseball player, a professional athlete. So I sort of forgot about it. He wins the MVP, and it was the first question he's asked, what about your influence of your dad and having him in your corner?
If you missed it, Pat Mahomes shows up to the Super Bowl for his media appearance, and one of the first names he mentioned was Mike Hampton, who was an old Rockies pitcher from yesteryear. It was a great reference, but to your point, that was his childhood, Mike Hampton. And Kay, you said he's calm and collected.
Yes.
There's nothing that rattles this guy. I mean, the whole media night thing is just, it's the same tone of voice. It's the same cadence. It almost kind of mirrors his play. Like when he gets hit, he's just like, whatever. And he also has escapability in the media, too. Like, there was one of those questions there that was kind of going at his defense maybe might not be so hot and seeing if he got going. And he said something like, well, you know, football's about understanding how to win, which doesn't even really make sense, but you're out.
Nothing.
You broke the pocket, and now we're back on track.
He's scrambling,
he's
Kyle.
Very good at that. And I actually think, you know, if the skies open up and Nick Bosa rocks him on the first play from scrimmage, I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Like, he's very steady. It's impressive.
Kyle, is there too much respect being shown from these 2 teams to each other in front of the microphones?
I'm glad you brought that up.
He's asked about the Niners defense and what Gronk had said about what the Chiefs have to do to get points on the board against the Niners. What do you think of this?
Well, NFL 100K, it's a lot about appreciating the past. And, you know, there was a great Falcons-Broncos Super Bowl. The game wasn't so great, but the build-up was. And Peter talked about earlier in the game, it was early in the week, Ray Buchanan and Shannon Sharp, and there was Mr. Ed talk and terrible dude, where's my car accusations. It was really fun, but there was also no social media, and there was like 2 guys with a tape recorder talking to him. So, 1, the game has changed, but 2, also, like, I think there's the guys who really do like each other. Even Frank Clark, we started the show with today. Frank Clark can be a powder keg. He's like, I love the Niners D-line. Yeah. I'm not terribly fond of D Ford, but the rest of those are my guys. I think we landed on one where there really is not a lot of
And they're likable. They're all likable.
Yeah, Hollywood Henderson came out and said Terry Bradshaw is so dumb he couldn't spell the word cat if I spotted him the C and the A. That was Super Bowl week.
That's mean.
And, like, imagine someone said that now.
But don't be fooled by the exchange of pleasantries.
Okay, tell me.
These guys are going to get after it.
Of course.
It's going to get ugly on Sunday. I feel like there's going to be some back and forth, some scuffles, there's going to be some pushing and shoving, and rightfully so. This is the biggest game. You should be the most emotional.
Wouldn't you love it, though, if Mahomes was like, guys, Garoppolo can't hold my jock?
Hey!
You know, like,
And I keep trying to make it happen. I'm like Kill versus Kelsey fight, and they're like, no, we love each other.
Yeah, he's done it.
He got it in him.
I know.
You're the